Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends, and today I am going to jump into the murky waters of what it means to write a hero. And I'll be doing it along with this fantastic gameplay from Hollow Knight. So please do enjoy as I dive into the rants, the musings, and the overall wisdom that we should all take away from writing heroes. Now, the subject of heroes is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Even before I sat down to watch Netflix's take on He-Man with the Masters of the Universe Revelation series, I've seen a lot of other YouTubers tackle this about how so many modern stories seem to have bungled the concept of heroes, or like it doesn't seem like we really have any heroes to look up to anymore, or there are plenty of heroes to be had, they're all just trash and garbage and not necessarily anything inspiring. Or in many cases, our traditional heroes have been taken and have been dragged through the mud and through broken glass, have been spat on, broken, and then thrown into the garbage. Say, hey, look, see what we've done? We've exposed them for who they really are. And praise us because we have deconstructed what it means to be a hero. And I just can't help but feel like we're all missing the mark here with this. And so please allow me to launch into some reminiscing and some musings. So really far back ago, I can't even recall how long ago this was. This was sometime really early on in high school. There was a show that was out on not even on cable, just on good old local television about Caesar Augustus, back when he was Octavius, and the war for him to prove that he was truly going to be emperor, that he was Julius Caesar's heir. I don't even know what this show was called. I tried looking it up, couldn't find really anything about it. All I remember was that there was a gladiator who did these really ridiculous sword tricks, who was supposed to be the main character. It really didn't make a whole lot of sense. And honestly, from what I recall, it was actually pretty much a bad show. But there was a line in it that has stuck with me for a very, very long time, where the gladiator is being thrown into the pit against some really hard hitters, and the owner of the gladiator is like, why are you going to do this? He's going to die in this fight. And the master of ceremony says, everyone wants to see their hero bleed. And bleed he does, but survive he does as well. And yay, the show continues. But that line has stuck with me. Everyone wants to see their hero bleed. And this has got me thinking a lot ever since I really decided that I wanted to be a writer. That a hero has to suffer to a certain extent. Heroes have to go through arcs that stretch them, that challenge them, that allow them to confront their strengths and their weaknesses, their deficiencies, and change, make the choices to change, take the actions to change, and become the person that the story, the world, their family, their friends, their loved one, whatever, need them to be. It is a process to become a hero, and that's something that people gravitate towards. And in that sense, yeah, heroes need to bleed. People want to see their heroes bleed. They want to see them struggle as they become the magnificent person that we know that they can be. However, what I've largely seen is I've seen people take heroes and just break them down. There's this desire to show that no one can ever be that good. There's no such thing as this true greater good. Anyone who is a paragon, it's all a farce. Rip away the mask and show the husk and the corpse and the decay behind it, that this person really can't be that good. And it definitely says something a bit about our society, where we have felt let down by so many people that we've looked up to, heroes in the world of sports, politics, music, general entertainment. Even worse, I would say, would be when members of our family that we really look up to let us down. A lot of us have seen our heroes fall. I would be surprised if there's anyone who has chosen someone to be their hero who hasn't at one point or another disappointed them. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, refuse to forgive that someone else out there that they look up to and admire is human. And we have this very pessimistic and depressed view of the world and of its people. We don't trust each other as much as we once did, and that reflects in our portrayal of heroes. And yet, there is something that I continue to see, and that I see now even more than probably ever before, and it is a desire for a hero in our lives, someone that we can look up to, a paragon, a pillar of virtue, of strength that won't let us down. In a day and age where we might be growing even more pessimistic, we grow ever more optimistic that there might just be someone or something on the horizon that can fill that heroic role. And that's where we writers come in. Now, as I said earlier, it's become pretty popular to just tear down heroes, deconstruct them, drag them through the mud. It's also become a really, really weird trend to create these weird pseudo-heroes. And I look at one of the shows that I just reviewed, Masters of the Universe Revelation, where Teela is supposed to be the main character. She's supposed to be the hero, and she does everything for the wrong reasons. She's not someone to look up to. She is selfish. She's angry without any real reason to be angry, and she's made to be perfect. And it's kind of strange to have this character who's supposed to be perfect at everything and be amazing and whatnot, and they're just a downer. They're just awful. You don't want to be around them. You don't want to look up to this person. So why am I following this person around? And that's one, she's one particular problem. There's many others that can fall into that weird category. I'm looking at nearly all the characters involved with Terminator Dark Fate. That was just awful. A lot of the recent reiterations of the Alien franchise. I mean, what the heck is going on here with this? But then we also have this really weird shift where it's okay now, apparently, to have Mary Sue and Gary Stu characters who just can't do anything wrong. The world bends over backwards to their whim to make sure that everything works. I know a lot of people are going to point their fingers and be like, yeah, Rey Palpatine, because she's definitely not a Skywalker, but there's plenty of other characters out there, especially like the weird side characters that really weird individuals have come up with because they feel slighted, like, you have taken away my great Christian values with your evilness there, Star Wars, so I'm going to have this perfect Christian character who is going to be absolutely perfect, upright, outstanding, and everyone's going to love him because it's a man. He's a man's man. No, both of these are bad. Bad. This girl who happens to know everything, can do nothing wrong, is talented with everything that she does, and everyone just inexplicably loves her, including the villains. That's dumb. That's a Mary Sue. And then this guy who's just perfect at everything, does nothing wrong, all the women love him, but no, he's so righteous, he's so good. That's a Gary Stu character. That's also really bad. These characters are like clowns almost of a Paragon, where they hyper exaggerate heroic characters, but without any of the meaning behind what it is to be a hero. So we have the pseudo characters, we have the hyper heroic characters, and then there's also the torture characters. Now then, here's something I'm going to say. I really don't have too much of a problem with characters who go through a lot of torture, so long as it means something within the story. I'm fine with your tortured heroes. I'm fine with your fallen heroes. I'm fine with someone who has to be redeemed to then become a hero. Those can be really great stories if told well. The problem is that these characters come basically in the form of broken goods. And as a result, while they may be relatable on a certain level, they're not the heroic pillar that people look to be like, wow, that's what and who I want to aspire to be. Because then there's always this little notion in the back of their head of, well, you were once broken. How can I trust you? It comes back to that strange dichotomy of we want to see our heroes bleed, but we also want our heroes to be perfect. And in many ways, that's unfair on the part of us as the readers, as the fans, as the regular plebs going about our daily lives. It's a lot of pressure to put on either a real person or onto a fictional character. I absolutely understand that. However, there are examples out there of fantastically written paragons, pillars of strength, virtue, honesty, greatness, that people look to and are like, that is a real hero. One example that must be instantly recalled is that of All Might from My Hero Academia. Now then, having been totally caught up with the manga and the anime and everything like that, I know there's a whole lot. There's so much I would love to talk about with My Hero Academia. But when we look at who All Might is, All Might has always been the true hero at heart, the person who saw the best in humanity, fought for the best in humanity, stood for it, was the pillar that held everything up, and in so many ways is the Superman for the modern age. Just as Superman was the guy that everyone looked to way back when, where it's like people needed that hero, a hero for the minorities, a hero for the everyman, and a hero for those who needed some hope in their lives. Superman could do that way back in the 20th century. All Might can do that now for many of the people who read My Hero Academia. But that's a lot of space between these two characters, and there's not many other massive paragons in between. You can find them out there, but they don't have the same popularity and clout as some of these characters have. And I think it's good sometimes to go back and really look at, well, what makes a hero? And so to do that, I kind of want to dive into a book that you've probably heard me mention quite often here on the channel, Beyonders. I'm going to look at the Beyonders series by Brandon Mull. Once again, I so highly recommend this series, but I want to quickly dive into a moment within the first book. Beyonders tells the story of a world that has no heroes. All the heroes have been defeated. The book opens up with Galaran, the last hero, falling. And it's such a cool moment to open the story with, and it becomes even cooler as you go throughout the trilogy and you come to learn just how awesome Galaran was in his prime. Just how big of a hero he was. He was larger than life. He was the Superman. He was the All Might. And yet he was defeated. And it's so cool and crazy and over the top. And with his defeats, the world of Lyrian has fallen. Evil reigns supreme. And we get to see a very eerily similar world to our own, where people have grown more pessimistic. They're not as trusting. Everyone follows their own strange, twisted morals, ideals. There really is no unity among the people, and those who are able to manipulate and lie and hoard wealth and power are the ones who crawl up to the top, and these people have no light in their hearts. They have no desire to really do any good. Sure, they'll put on a face to the public, but you know that this is a world without heroes, and the people are losing hope by the day. And soon, evil will reign supreme, and the wicked sorcerer Emperor Maldor will as well reign supreme without anyone to challenge him, because there are no heroes. As a result, in a last-ditch effort, the last people who followed Galaran sacrificed themselves in order to bring two heroes from Earth to the world of Lyrian, Jason and Rachel. Jason and Rachel eventually meet up with Galaran, who is now crippled, blinded, lacking in power, left to rot in a derelict castle, as Maldor is just like, haha, my greatest foe is that. And everyone who sees Galaran just like, if this is what could happen to me, no thanks, I won't be a hero. Jason and Rachel, young teenagers, no special abilities to speak of, really just normal kids with their own little quirks and whatnot, are called upon to be heroes. And in an amazing moment of real humanity, Jason voices his concerns to Galaran. And I quickly want to read this because I want to read it verbatim because it's so dang good. This sent chills up my spine the first few times that I read it. So Jason says, "Can I be honest with you?" Galaran folded his hands. I would not have it any other way. I'm not sure I'm cut out for something like this. I'm a pretty regular guy. All the stuff that you've been telling me has me almost scared out of my mind. I don't think I'm what you're looking for. You need a real hero." Galorant shook his head. "So many misconceptions surround the notion of heroism. Far too many categorize a hero as a champion on the battlefield, a commander of legions, a master of rare talent or ability. Granted, there have been heroes who fit that description, but many men of great evil as well. Heed me. A hero sacrifices for the greater good. A hero is true to his or her conscience. In short, heroism means doing the right thing regardless of the consequences. Although any person could fit that description, very few do. So choose this day to be one of them." Oh man, I actually got goosebumps reading that again. It's such an honest description of a hero. A hero is someone who sticks to their conscience no matter what, who has their compass pointed in the direction of right, and does it, fully knowing sometimes that there's going to be horrible backlash. And this is one of the things that we've seen from really amazing heroes throughout stories. I think of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War. Steve Rogers is such an amazing character because of his conviction and his ability to forgive and his ability to seek out the good in other people and to fight for personal freedom. That is incredible. To watch Iron Man transform from a selfish bastard to a courageous hero, that's inspiring. To watch Jason and Rachel as two teens in the Beyonder series rise to become heroes, to inspire other people to take up the sword and to fight alongside them. They inspire entire kingdoms, despite the fact that, once again, they're just teenagers. Or how All Might does what is right, even though it basically brings him to the point of death. How it inspires Izuku. And granted, while a lot of people have torn into Izuku for just running himself ragged, there is something so noble about it because he is doing what he believes and what is indeed right despite the toll that takes on him. And this is what makes the current chapters in the manga, spoiler alert, but I'm going there, it's what makes the current chapters of the manga so incredibly amazing, is because his friends realize that and they follow his example to hold him up. They do the right thing despite the consequences, even though they know it's going to hurt him. They do it because they know that Izuku needs it, because Izuku is doing the right thing, and they're going to support him all the way. And it becomes then a whole gang of heroes, not just one person. They become pillars of strength. It is amazing to see stories that show how others can rise up, how they can inspire, how they can stand for something amazing, because that is honestly what we ourselves desire. And when we look at all the heroes throughout epic times, whether it be Gilgamesh, Beowulf, Arthur and his knights, or really plenty of stories everywhere from across the world, there are stories of these amazing heroes who rise up to meet some incredible challenge. And sometimes it's rough, sometimes it's hard, sometimes, yes, they bleed, but they will always do what they know is right, and they fulfill these ideals that the people have in whatever time or whatever culture, that this is the right thing to do, that this is what it means to be a hero. This is what it means to inspire others. So, what can we then as writers do? Well, what we can do is this. If you want to actually write a good heroic character, and I'm not going to tell you if you should do tortured or not tortured or whatever it is you want to do with your heroes. That is your story. You tell your story. But if you want to write an amazing heroic character, you need to dive in deep into what it is that people actually want to see. We want to see trustworthiness. We want to see strength. We want to see charisma. We want to see justice. We want to see mercy. We want to see companionship. We want to see that people can remain true to their word, to other people. We want to see strength. Strength of character, not just strength of brute force. Strength of character. Strength of conviction. Strength of belief. Those are the things that we crave now more than probably ever before. And if you can write characters that have those kinds of convictions, that comes across as truly heroic. Now, I'll say this, as a writer who writes with plenty of heroes and villains, I have plenty of heroes, I should say. I have plenty of villains as well, more than enough villains. But I've got plenty of heroes who are more along the lines of, well, what is relatable and everything like that. I have very few Paragon heroes. However, there are a couple. In my upcoming book, Bleed, Steam, and Steel, one of these is Asuka. Though she has her own weaknesses and everything like that, she has a strength of conviction and a strength of love for her family, that she will do anything for them. And the lengths that she goes to stand up for her values as an individual, her values as a warrior, and her values as a daughter and sister make her one of the most amazing characters I have written to date. She is fantastic, and everyone who has read her from Camille's Harem and from all of my beta readers, all of them love Asuka because she is a hero, and she's so amazing to write and she's so amazing to read. Another character that I've written who's just another really amazing hero character is Tuffy from Knights of Halicruz. Tuffy's actually a side character. He's not even a main character. But Tuffy has the strength of conviction, the strength of character. You can rely on Tuffy. He is reliable. He is honest. He is true. He is loyal. And as such, you just can't help but love this little rambunctious elf because he is what you want him to be. You want a hero. Tuffy and Asuka were amazing characters to write because they are heroes. The other heroes I've written, they're amazing as well. But there's really something to say about someone who's able to rise up to that standard and meet it and be it, because deep down, that's what we all want. All right, so I think I've kind of gone on long enough. There's so much that can be said about heroes, and I'm just really scratching the surface right here. I kind of want this to, in a way, be more of a beginning rather than the end to the conversation. As I said, there's so many other people having this conversation out there. But a weird thing is that not a whole lot of people are actually talking about the qualities of what makes someone heroic and truly a timeless hero. And there's so many other examples out there of amazing heroes that should be talked about. So what I want to hear from you guys is, I want to hear in the comments who you believe are some of the greatest heroes in fiction, and tell me why. Also, let me know if there are any videos that you want me to do where I dive deep into what makes a character in any story truly a hero and someone that we can look up to and say that person is a pillar of strength that we need in our lives because they're just so amazing. Please let me know because, yeah, I would like to do more videos where I really do dive deep into this. As I said, this is just the beginning of a conversation. I don't want this to be the end. So with that, I will bid you all adieu. If you are looking for good, solid writing advice, you can go check out our episodes over at Camille's Harem on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, the works. Obviously, we have a ton of amazing videos here on YouTube. We also do live streams every other Friday, so we'll be having one coming up here really, really soon. We also have a community that you can join over at our Discord server. We have writing exercises at our Pinterest page, and we'd also love to see you at our subreddit where we carry on various conversations. Yeah, there's a whole lot of it here because we really want to create a great net of support for anyone who's a novice writer, because one of the hardest things about being a writer is just getting started and receiving that support. And honestly, Camille's Harem, we want to be that support network for all of you writers out there. So please hit us up. We'd love to talk to you. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.